Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu rasulillah, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. The questioner says, I've married a brother who's a da'i, a sheikh. And here a disclaimer, we're not, a'udhu billah. The Muslim has to respect the people of knowledge. However, we have to be careful because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, lima taquluna ma la taf'alun. Or you believe, why do you say what you don't do? So, the sister says she married a da'i, a sheikh, beard and all that, mashallah, like, someone who looks practicing. And that's where she made her decision based on. As we talked before, when choosing a spouse from the sisters, when a man wants to marry a woman, he should look for the deen. And we explained to you, what does the deen mean? Is it just to pray and just to look pious, or is it actually to practice? And it is to practice. But now we are faced with the question from the other side. So the sister decided to marry a brother based on his deen. And indeed, this is the advice of the Prophet ﷺ. But again, I would make the argument that a lot of people do not vet enough, do not take, do not do due diligence when it comes to marrying. And they get easily convinced by the appearances. Now, another disclaimer. I'm an expert of disclaimers now these days because you have to be very careful. However, I believe to have a comprehensive look at this issue, we need to give the disclaimers. So yes, the beard is important, the thobe is important, the look and all that, but the inside has to meet the outside. So she says that very fast I discovered that he does not pray Fajr. If he wakes up once in a while, but in general does not wake up, does not make any effort to wake up for Fajr. Yet stays up at night sometimes to debate with people online and gives lectures and does durus, reminders, calls people when they do something wrong in debates and arguments, points out to them, is a strong proponent of the sunnah and of the correct path. Yet sometimes, a lot of times, he doesn't pray Fajr. A lot of times he delays his prayer, doesn't pray because he's discussing with different people, arguing. So I see it as a contradiction. When I tell him to wake up, he gets upset. Sometimes he blames me for missing his prayer. So what should I do? Because it's totally different. I thought that when I will, be with him, it will be like, mashallah, qiyam and salah and all these things, reminders, because that's what it looks like. Wow, I want to marry this guy. I'm going to learn tafsir and Quran and whatnot. And when then they marry, they find that it's a weak man. Cannot wake up for Fajr. Now someone will be like, yeah, maybe he's got some issues and whatnot, but he doesn't put the effort. There's no intention. There's no niyyah. So also sisters have to be careful when they do the vetting, the premarital discussion, to ask, to understand. Also, one of the things that many brothers and sisters make a mistake with is they don't ask other people about them in the community, someone who knows them. Hey, what do you know about them? Ask the mother and the father, does your son wake up for Fajr? And they should tell you. They should tell you. I believe Salahuddin Ayyubi, he chose his army only from people who would wake up for Fajr. Why? Because it's a very strong indication of a strong person, the one who can lift the heavy blanket of sleep. And if they cannot, then obviously it's an indication of weakness. So the sister is stuck now because she wants to practice. She really was looking forward to have someone of deen. And he's still, mashallah, is giving dawa and this and that, but he's not very careful with his own practice and his own development, with his salawat. And she is unhappy with that. Missing salah, not caring about this, but yes, caring about arguing with people and debating. And if you look, appearances-wise, mashallah. But when you look at his actual practice, then there's a lot to be wished for. So brothers and sisters, when you vet someone, when you go for marriage, before marriage, it has to be the imams, the communities. We need to have more courses. Now, of course, you're not going to be able to get every single detail and dig into every, part of his life. But I believe such things as salah, which are basics in Islam, these have to be looked at. Issues of character, adab, behavior, knowledge but practice. And also we learn that sometimes that appearances can be deceiving. I'm not saying. I believe, yes, that a Muslim has to look like a Muslim, has to behave like a Muslim, has to talk like a Muslim. But they also have to have the inside like a Muslim. And a lot of people focus on the outside and never on the inside. And a lot of people focus on the inside and don't focus on the outside. No, Islam brings the two together and has a perfect balance between what we feel, what we believe, what we preach, and what we do. But I call again upon the communities that we need to have more, we need to highlight these issues to the youth or to anyone who wants to get married. We need to, in our premarital courses, it's not all about like, yeah, this and that. Like when I see the premarital courses, sometimes I feel like they're very secular. I think we need to dig a bit deeper and not be afraid that, hey, we're going to upset someone if we ask these questions or these things. I always say, when you get ready for marriage and you're face to face with that person that you consider for marriage, pray istikhara, take istishara, consult with people that care about you, do your bahth or your research, ask people, and each other, cross-examine each other. Give situations, like case scenarios. If this would happen, what would you say or what would you do? How about if this happens in our life, what would you do? Ask and talk about important issues such as future career plans and work. Maybe the brother, do you want your wife to work? After 2 years, 3 years into the marriage, they're having a fight and about to break apart because they didn't agree upon this and the woman now wants to work. Same from the other side. I have women complaining, Wallahi, uqsim billah, subhanallah, it's so sad. It really, that we men, we want our wives not to work. And when they don't want it, when I hear these cases, the sister says, I had a case the other day. Sister says, brother, I want to be a housewife. I'm like, Allahu Akbar. I know you guys right now, a lot of sisters might be like, my God, what is that? Why would she want that? The sister wants to be a housewife. She understands certain things, priorities. And her husband says, no, I want you to work. I'm sorry. You're going to have to contribute. I'm sorry. If you want to take a vacation, I want to go here, I want to go there. We need a second salary. And she's like, but I don't want that. He's forcing me to go out to work. Some men, even before marriage, the premarital discussion, they say, well, if you're not going to work, I'm not going to marry you. Or it's a deal breaker. Subhanallah. So get these things cleared out before. I believe also you need to cross-examine the issue of ideology, of what you think about Islam, practice, this, that. Because if there's no compatibility in the deen, you're not upon the Quran and the Sunnah, again, I see a lot of problems within the sessions that I take. So before marriage, there has to be put case scenarios, situations. If we do this, what would happen? What are our plans? Children, or do you want children? I just heard a complaint yesterday, a case where the husband said, I don't want children. After they got married. And the wife said, that's the only thing I want. I want to have children. Why did I get married? But they didn't discuss it. And now the man says, yeah, but you cannot force me. I don't want to have children. Yeah, of course you cannot. But if a woman wants children, this can be a case for divorce. But you see, if we don't do our homework before the marriage, we do not cross-examine each other. Yes, sometimes you feel shy. Yes, sometimes these situations are not the most comfortable. But subhanAllah, it will save you so much heartache in the future. So I always say, this is the last few words. Pick 10 situations in your life that really upset you, that are deal breakers for you. Both of you. And then put it on the table. Ask each other, what would you do here? How would we do this? And then see if you can come to common terms, inshallah. Then bismillah, you go ahead. If not, you got to be careful. You got to readjust. Of course, maybe some of your points don't make sense. So there has to be a discussion, dialogue, back and forth, where you use evidence and proof from Islam. Islam is the standard for marriage, how to live our lives, everything. There should be no confusion, actually, and no doubt. But doing this before marriage will save a lot of problems, a lot of broken hearts, a lot of broken families, a lot of hurt extended families, and so on. Barakallahu feekum. Please subscribe and support his work. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.